Hello, everybody. How you doing? And welcome. My name is Lord PeteyTV. I'm here to give us all here a little update or the TLDR of what what the updates have been this past week. So, if you have not been listening or seeing what's going on with World of Warcraft right now, there's been a bunch of different things that have happened. The race for World First has ended, and probably, in my opinion, one of the fastest race for World First in a very long time. Just so people have a kind of like an idea of what's happening. Liquid won the race with 100 pulls on Gallywix. Echo completed it with 49 pulls, and Mythic completed it in third with 104 pulls. So that pretty much was the end result for the pulls. Now, if you kind of go back and you look at how things went, the hardest boss, from our understanding, was actually Styx Bunk Junker. So that was the one with the most issues and problems with it. But honestly, I think that overall people did a fantastic job pushing through. Muggsy, had a decent amount of pulls, which was 149 for Liquid, 191 for Echo, and 139 for Method. Now, all the other ones were very, very low, other than Sprocketmonger for Method. They had 191 pulls. And, I think that overall this was a very, for lack of a better term, it was kind of an easier race for World First from what a lot of people have discussed it as. I'm just speaking briefly about that in general, but the reason why I'm talking about that is because a lot of things that are happening in Mythic Pluses and in certain classes they tend to not touch. And the reason why they don't want to touch that is because they don't want to modify anything that is occurring during the race for World First. So, as you would know, that is why this has been a little bit of a wait for most people. Now, these were the updates that has happened since. Now, I'm going to be talking about things that have happened 5 days ago to present. And there is a bunch of really, really interesting changes that happened. And I'm going to kind of talk about some of the sillier ones first, and then we'll get into the more serious things. Okay. The first thing that I want to talk about is a fix that they ended up doing on what's it called on Wednesday. Um, Apparently, they accidentally nerfed Elemental Shaman last week, and it was nerfed by 17%. So they ended up noticing that and fixing it, and now they're back to where they should be, pretty much on top of the meters. But anyway, um, they're they're pretty solid and they're going very well. So that's one thing I want to talk about. The other thing that we ended up getting a post about is that Death Knight's anti magic shell has been is able to completely remove the Storm Guard's Gordon's dot mechanic. Now, it is a really interesting thing because this guy is very, very hard to kill. I actually have a video that is going to be coming out with him very shortly to show people on how to deal with things involving those bosses. I wanted to wait until I got into a couple of the higher keys so that I can end up making the videos so people could see the severity of things. So what ends up happening is that Stormguard Gordon's boss mechanic, the chaotic corruption, it puts a dot effect on a person, and then you have to transfer it to another person, and then it'll debuff and that person, and it goes back and forth a couple of times. Well, with anti magic shell, you end up putting that on there, and if you get it, it removes the whole entire thing together, like it wasn't even a thing. It's not supposed to be a dot immunity. It's not supposed to be there. They said that that's an error. I wonder if they're going to keep it or not, but it's just something that people have noticed and something that they kind of discussed and told everybody about. The next thing was something that happened 5 days ago. They did a Mythic Plus hot fix on Cinderbrew, Motherlode, Rookery, and Floodgate. Now, the things that they did was a very small nerf change. So, Cinderbrew Meadery, Buzz Bee's Honey Marmalade area denial damage has been reduced by 30%. Motherlode, the Azerox added Azerite Aftershock initial damage has been reduced by 23%, and the and the adds aftershock periodic damage has been reduced by 43%. And then the Rookery, Voidstone Monastery, and Voidstone Awakened Corruption's Overload increased damage inflicted per stack has been reduced by 50%. And then Floodgate, Operation Floodgate, Big Mama's maximum distortion cast time increased to 4 seconds, was 3, and maximum distortion duration has been reduced to 12 seconds from 14. Swamp Face's chains targeted updated to prefer non-healers, and this will be included in the next hotfix, which was the next day. So what this is telling me is that they really took a lot of the AoE damage and periodic dot damage that's being placed across all the other characters and reducing it down so that they can at least get through it all. Now, I think that this is a really, really nice change and really, really easy. Today, it was the first day I actually tried to heal on my monk, and for me, it was, for lack of a better term, terrible. It was very, very hard, and I don't know if it was my character or what, but I did it on my Mistweaver. I'm going to try on my Druid tomorrow. I might even do Druid Key tonight just to see the difference. But overall, this is a great change. I'm kind of happy to see it. Now, next thing that they ended up doing another hotfix for class bug fix, Mythic plus tuning, and more raid effects. So a lot of things happened here. I'm going to do a very quick overdue chat on most of the stuff. So what's going to end up happening was the Hunter had a bunch of errors, and they fixed those. I actually saw them personally because of how things were operating. So that's been fixed there. Priests had a problem where their tier set wasn't working properly, so they ended up fixing that. And then Elemental had a couple of problems with like Stormbringer. It fixed an issue causing awakening storms to be removed when engaging dungeon bosses. Things like that. Little things that were fixed. Bunch of brand issues that they ended up fixing. A lot of the stuff that we just discussed in the raids. Cinderbrood Meadery addressed an IPA issue causing brew drops to spawn with energy and enraging quicker than expected. They ended up fixing that. Just kind of gonna go through things, and they fixed a bunch of stuff in Liberation Liberation of Undermined. So they fixed a lot of that stuff. So nothing too big there. They nerfed Dark Flame Cleft casters. The lowly mole herds rock throw damage reduced by 25%. Vantis reduced by 5%, and cast time was increased to 2 seconds. Snoot Stout's Flame Candle Bolt cast time increased to 3 seconds. It was 2. Royal Whitlighter's Bolt cast time was increased to 3 seconds. So this stuff, it's easier to deal with. Something kind of as a little tip: the lowly mole herds, make sure you get in melee range, because then they won't do that. They forced to go in there, and they won't throw or attack on the range itself. And then the last thing, which was the last couple of bugs and changes that they ended up doing. Let's just kind of, they ended up doing a bunch of things. So a bunch of fun things. So they ended up fixing some class stuff with DKs, Demon Hunters, Pallies for Holy, Disc Priests, Brand. They're trying to still rework Brand's tank spec to be a little more useful. It has really not been great. But the one major thing I want to talk about with Brand for Delves is that all versions of Brand now takes 50% reduced damage from area of effect damage, which has been great. In my opinion, it's just terrible in general. So that is that. Here we go. Just an issue where Zeltas Bargain Pulsar can be difficult to interact with elevated terrains. That was something that's going to be fixed tomorrow, or today in our case. All the things we discussed with Dark Flame Cleft. Read too much stuff together. Operation Mechagon Workshop resolved an issue where anti-personal squirrel visuals did not match their AFX, and after a knockback effect. Head machinist, spark flex, discombobulator. Cast time has been increased to 3 seconds, was 2. Resolved an issue where Omega Buster Magneto Arm would not pull players. And then we have liberation of Undermine. There are lots of changes here. Changes in heroic, mythic, and things like that. So overall, I think that there's a decent amount of changes and bugs that they ended up doing. So I like it. I'm kind of excited to see it. So overall, thanks again for chatting. Make sure you hit that sub button. Please make sure you watch more of our videos. I greatly appreciate it. I did not expect to have a huge influx of subs, and I appreciate it and I thank you. And we would love to have more subs here, and we would also love to have some more hours brought into the channel. So make sure you check out more of our videos. Check out our live feeds and everything. We're on every single Monday through Friday on Twitch and on YouTube. Thank you again. I appreciate you all. Dream big, keep gaming. I hope you all had a great vault, and I'll see you all soon. And tomorrow you'll see my vault opening. You'll have that video very shortly. So thanks again, everyone. Bye. Careful. Boom! KSM, baby.